What's up, guys? It's been a while since I posted a video, but I've been trying out other gig works because you want to try to be productive. And I think this is one of the better ones, Outlier, trying to do data annotation. So if you want to get started and see what kind of results I got, I'll just go through it from start to finish. So go ahead and go on the website and you just click opportunities. And they have a lot of different categories you can fall in. Generalist is probably going to fit most people, but if you can show that you have expertise in other categories, either with a degree or passing their exams, then you can get higher pay. So the highest paying ones is software engineering, any kind of coding. After that, it's any kind of STEM or being able to speak in a different language. And the lowest one is generalist, where you can do writing or any kind of translating or maybe like voice task. So here, I already have an account and I also have a referral link. So we'll go ahead and head over to the actual dashboard. Here we have the dashboards. Once you log in, mine looks like this. Here's your project that I could be signing up for. I have to continue the onboarding. They'll just have a code name. It doesn't really matter that I'm showing you this because it's a code name. You can pretty much find a lot of these code names on Reddit and people talk about the projects. What you don't want to do is go into detail about what you're actually doing on the project because you can get banned for that. So ways that you can sign up for different projects is based off your skill. And there's a lot of different skills that you can try to pass. And I have a couple. I have chemistry, I have coding, basic science, I have English, psychology, Java. You can sign up for other coding languages. You can sign up for different languages to speak. So an example of how the test is taken is that they'll ask you questions where you type in the answer. You'll have questions where you have to do a video of you answering the question. And then also there's a few where it's just audio only. And here's an example. I failed one. My speakers and the microphone wasn't working. And you're supposed to test this beforehand. I didn't. I just skipped past it. And I had to restart my computer to pass all the other tests. But I failed that one. So it's okay to fail a test. You don't get eliminated. But there's a lot of different skills that you can sign up for. One of the good things about it is that if you can demonstrate that you have the skill, you'll get paid more. One thing to note is that if you try to cheat, you're going to get banned. Even if you pass now, here's an example. So this person says, I guess this is goodbye. First I joined, nothing bad happened. And then a few months later, this person was banned for breaching guidelines. And let's see what they did. However, based on our audit, blah, blah, they were just reading off of a online answer that they found. And so because Outlier found that they detected that this person was just reading the answer, they ended up getting banned. So you should definitely know what you're doing when you take these exams. I mean, I wouldn't want to work on a project with someone who cheated because they're just going to create problems for everybody. So that's something you definitely should not do. Here we're at the projects tab. So right now, I was just checking out what this project was and just looking at the details. It only pays $25 an hour, which is a lot depending on where you are at in the US. Some places where the minimum wage is $7, that's a lot of money. But in Seattle, this is basically minimum wage. And there's other projects that are closer to a higher pay. So for example, this project pays $50 an hour because the skills required is for coding, which I'm probably going to work through. You do the onboarding, explains you how to do the project. And typically a project, how it works is that you do a task, you write a prompt, and then you have the AI try to generate an answer, and then you write down the answer that is a perfect answer and what the AI got wrong. You're trying to trick the AI. An example of this is, let's take a look at this, what I typed in here. It says NBA game that went to the playoffs in overtime, and this is what the AI generated, that the Portland Trailblazers beat the Denver Nuggets, this score on April 25th, 2025, when this is not true at all. This the Portland Trailblazers weren't even in the playoffs in 2025. So then you have to go in and explain, what the AI should have said, and that way it'll train the AI to improve on its answering. What you want to do is you want to type in the prompt, go check the AI to see if it fails, and then go back and explain what a correct answer should be. That's the most efficient way. Here's another project, High Noon. So the onboarding you're not paid for. Sometimes they give you like a bonus if you do, but most of the time you're not getting paid for it. And when you are onboarded afterwards, you get a lot of resources, you get a lot of documents on how to complete the project, and then you also have a lot of community resources such as a Zoom meeting where people daily log on and you can talk to the project leaders, and they're called QMs. And then also you have other resources where you could talk to other people who are on the project asking for help if you get lost or confused. So there's a lot of resources that can help you. What you want to do is, I can't pull up an actual task because you guys can't see that. What you want to do is you want to lay out the steps that you're supposed to do for that project. So step number 1 is to save the task ID just in case something happens. You can email support to look into if you were logged out for some reason or something happened with the task, you can get back on it. And then write down what you're supposed to do. How many rubrics you're supposed to have, what types of criteria you're supposed to have. That way you go through the checklist, and every time you submit a task, it's fully completed. A lot of people do not do this. If you do it right, you might get promoted to reviewer, which you'll just review someone else's task and give them feedback. So let's take a look here. So here's the feedback task. When you go through that and you give feedback, you get it from other reviewers. And here's an example of me doing well. And if you do that well, you can get promoted to a status called Oracle, where you get paid a little bit more and you get a little bit more priority for projects and support. You do have a maximum time to do the projects. You do have a maximum time to do the task. So here's an example, $25 an hour, maximum time. And then if you go over that, you get this amount of time. And there's also a maximum for that. If you try to go over that time, then eventually they're going to flag you. Here is an example. Got banned, sadly. Basically what this person was doing, I may have overdone it, but I was doing the task and approaching everything. And then this person got banned because of idling. And this person typically you're supposed to get faster as you get a feel for the how to do the task. This person was just hitting the maximum time and even not doing anything. So this person eventually got banned. So here's an example of what the earnings page looks like. You get paid at a certain rate for a task, so $50 an hour, and this is how long you did it for. And if you exceed the time, you get paid at the lower rate for that time. Sometimes I went over, but for the most part, I got the hang of it. Here's an example of completing a mission. And for the most part, I was doing projects that were $50 an hour for coding. And if you take a look at this, it can go up pretty high. This is the highest I've ever seen. And this is for a good amount of time too. And then as for the mission, it's split up into 2 types. So there's one by task and then one by hours. And you can complete both of them. Something to keep in mind is that when you're a reviewer, you'll get through a task a lot faster because you're just reviewing someone else's task, which takes substantially longer. But if you want to do the hours one, then you want to be a attempter. And you can talk to your QM and move between the two. Typically what I do is I try to focus on being an attempter early on in the project, and once it gets towards the end and all the tasks get used up, then you want to be a reviewer. That way you can still stay in the project and you're reviewing other people's tasks. You can flip between the two. Just communicate with your QM. After working 40 hours, I come out to making $2,567.07, which comes out to be $64 and about 18 cents. So that's pretty good. That's a pretty big jump from doing food delivery, which I make about 30-ish dollars. If you want to check out this video right here, then you can see other ways to make money. So if you have any questions, leave in the comment section and I'll be sure to answer them.